Oh, I'm so sorry. It's fine. Wait, Octavia Melody? Is that you? Do I know you? It's me, Honey Drizzle. Your old friend. Have you forgotten about me? Honey Drizzle. My goodness, it has been so long. How have you been? Well, I've been doing well, but how long has this been? 10 years? Yeah, it has been 10 years since we saw each other last. What a surprise. Yeah, sure indeed. So, what brings you here to Manhattan? Oh, classical performance. Right. I remember now. You did play a lot of classical music on your cello and other instruments. I mean, you practiced a lot right back then. Yeah. So, what about you? What are you doing here in Manhattan? Oh, I actually live here right now. Wait, really? Yeah. Honey Drizzle and Octavia are very close, are very old friends. Honey Drizzle was born and raised in Ponyville like Octavia. His family moved away when he was only 12 years old. They moved to Manhattan since his father was giving an opportunity for a better work. And they hadn't even seen each other since. So, what kind of work are you doing here? Oh, I'm actually working over there, and he's pointing it towards this big theater. Wait, are you the producer that makes many hits plays? Yep, that's me. Wow, I didn't know. I mean, I knew for the fact you liked to direct and even write scripts sometimes, back in even when we were still living in Bonneville. I mean, I don't even remember the school play that you were the one that was helping the directing and all. Yeah, that's right. That was then when I realized that was my true passion. Even though it was hard, but hey, how would we talk more about this at the cafe over there? It's more better, environment for that. She nodded and they went there. They ordered some tea and they sat down and just talking. So yeah, I mean, it was very difficult for me to at first, even when I was finished high school and all, when I went to work with the direction, the director and all, but not many opponents that even took me serious. Well, I mean, it's understanding. You were just a newbie, and not many seasonal experienced directors or playwriters won't even just simply allow a newbie to just, you know, yeah. But what made you to become so famous? Believe it or not, one day one of the directors for one particular play was sick, and I was one of the staff, or at least, well, I was more his assistant. And well, he he was sick for days. Oh, and especially during the time when it was at this premiere for a big play. So you can only imagine how much panic there were. There were no other opponent that could even fill his place while he was away from being sick and all. Yeah, it's understandable. I mean, I can understand it was such chaos. Believe me, it was quite hectic. But I thought that could have been my opportunity, so I just stood up, told the staff that I knew in fact how to direct, but they didn't even took me serious. So I told them, just give me a chance. They already had the script, so I asked them if it was possible just to prove it. If I could direct a few of the actors in from one scene from the play, so I could prove that I was really a good director. They were they were desperate. to find a suitable director for this, but it was really short time since that happened on the actual premiere day. They were told that they may have to find, but it would have to couldn't take it up to a few days before, and they could even take an opportunity to just cancel or to delay this big play, So I played one role, one scene from the play, and I was a natural. They saw me that, so they made me the assistant, or temporarily director for this play. Even after the play was over, the director was supposed to be on the stage to talk about it. But the assistant director, or at least one of the staff, told the audience that the director was actually sick that day. So they told they were this temporarily director. And I was on the stage and I told them that I was only stepping in as a temporary director, and the audience loved it. They even saw that I had potential. Even when the director was recovered from his being sick, he was told and even read the newspaper, and he was astonished. He regretted that he never gave me an opportunity, but since that day he did. Octavia smiled when she was listening to this story. You really showed this true passion about it, didn't you? Oh yeah, big time. I'm just happy to be able to do so. And ever since then that the director gave me chances from now and then to direct one smaller plays, and now I have my own place I've been directing. That's quite a dream. You may not even actually be like this if you still lived in Ponyville. Oh yeah, that's true. Unless if I had moved away. True. But anyways, how have you been otherwise? Oh, I'm just still freelance musician, traveling around, hired from performance, Catlot, Manhattan, and a few times even to Saudi Arabia. You have been to many places, do you? Mm-hmm. And still living in Ponyville, do you? Oh yeah. Let me guess. You're living with your old friend, Vinyl. Oh yeah. I can't believe that you even roommate with your old friend Vinyl. Or at least our friend Vinyl is hectic with her, her style. I'm surprised that you even lost your mind by then. Well, we have our moments, but they always compromise. That's true. They sat there and just talk more and more about times, and eventually, they had to leave. But since Octavia was gonna be in Manhattan for several days, and just the day before she was going back to Ponyville, she ran into Honey Drizzle once again on the street, and they started talking a bit more. He took her to the play, and she stood in the backstage watching during the practice rehearsal for holding. And she was really impressed of how he'd been so skilled. It was then when she remembers one small thing, and that was a promise. A promise that they made all those years ago when they both were 12 years old. Back then, when he was moving away from Ponyville to Manhattan, they made a promise. If he would be a successful director for a play, he will come back and ask her to be his girlfriend. But now that he had been a director for many hit plays, she wondered if he even remembered the place, the promise. But when he then suddenly walked up to her backstage, so, what do you think? Was it good enough? Well, better than I thought it would be. Thanks. Is something wrong? No, it's just, I just remember old, you know, old memories of us back home. He just nodded. Yeah. And there is something another thing I wanted to say. What is it? Do you want to be my girlfriend, Octavia? What? Have you forgot all the promises we've made? No, never. But the promise was supposed that you were going back home after you made your debut as a director. But you told me that you had done so many successful plays, but you never came back. Yes, I'm aware of that, and I'm sorry. It's just that many of those plays were so hectic, and they took a lot of rehearsal, and I'm sorry. But it's okay if you don't. I know. I am. I want to be your girlfriend. I do. He smiled, and they decided to actually go out that evening. He took her to a dance club, and they danced. When they were dancing, it was like they were the only ones there. The music playing around them, it felt like the music was so distant, but at the same time was clear. They looked each other deeply in the eyes as they were dancing. The romance between them was only getting stronger. As the next day came, Octavia said goodbye to Honey Drizzle, and he promised that he would be back soon again to Ponyville to see her. But that didn't happen for next month, since the play he had made in rehearsal was being a pretty big one. But when he went back home to Ponyville after a month, he was happy to see some old friends again, and even when he went to Octavia's home, and it was not even her open the door. Yes? What can I do for you? Vinyl, is that even you? Do I know you? Yes, it's me, Honey Drizzle. Honey Drizzle. Mr. Drizzle. It'll been a while. Octavia's in the inn right now, but she will be back soon. But you can come in if you want to. Thanks. So, you and Octavia. Yep. Yeah, she remember that promise you made. That's right. I'm just really happy to be with her. Yeah, I can tell. She has stopped. She just talked about you non-stop ever she came back from Manhattan about a month ago. That made him blush and said, "Oh, really?" Yeah, she said like how much she loved you, how much you're a good director. Oh, really? He said almost with a big grin. And Octavia actually overheard this. Final, you don't have to tell him that, she said, almost embarrassed. Well, it is true though. Yeah, but you don't even have to be saying like that. Sorry. Well, excuse me, lovebirds. And then she walked away. Wait, don't. Oh. Sometimes, Vinyl, you are such pain in the flank, you know that? But, yeah, she's a friend, you know, how she like. That I don't remember. She hasn't changed much. Both laughed about it. And the relationship between them was getting stronger and stronger for each day. They were both happy that they hadn't even seen each other for such a long time, only about until a month ago. It turns out even Octavia had wondered, all those years, if he was even alive, or if he even remembers her or not. But now, they are back together. After being together for about a year, Octavia was actually even considered to leave Ponyville, to move to Manhattan to be with Honey Drizzle. even though it meant that she had to leave her old friend Vinyl, her roommate. But when she mentioned this to Vinyl, Vinyl just said, Octavia, you should go. He is your love anyway. I mean, I'll always be here. And if you want to come back to just spend time with me, I will always be here for you. You are my best friend. You always will be. Octavia gave her friend Vinyl a hug, and within a couple of weeks later, when she went to see Honey Drizzle in Manhattan for a visit, when she told him this, he said, ready to find your own place. Why don't we live together? I mean, my place is big enough for both of us. I mean, it's like we're not complete strangers, you know? She nodded and thought that was actually a good idea. It would also save her some money in order to find her own place, because she didn't even know how long it could take. It could take weeks, months, to find a suitable place for her own. So within the next couple of weeks afterwards, she signed the lease and slowly moved some of her things over to Manhattan. She was happy now. Not only that she was now living with her boyfriend, but living with the one that she loved the most in the whole world. She couldn't even be more happier. Afterwards, after they'd been together for about another 3 more years, Honey Drizzle decided he was ready to take the next step. So when he took her to a restaurant in town, he asked her if she wanted to marry him. She said yes. And they decided to have a big wedding. But they wanted to have it in Ponyville. So even when they went back home to inform some old friends back home, Vinyl was more than happy. She was even asked to be the maid of honor of Octavia. And they were happy. They had a small wedding for just some close family and friends. They didn't want to have such grand wedding, because to them it was just too much. But they were just happy. And on the wedding day, Honey Drizzle felt quite nervous. But even when Vinyl stood next to him, and said, if you're that nervous, take a deep breath and tell yourself, I am ready. I am so ready. He did, and he said, thanks. That helped a lot. Vinyl smiled and laughed. Yep, always does. Soon, Octavia walked in, and even afterwards at the wedding reception party, all the guests could see how happy they were. They couldn't even be more happier. And eventually, they later went on their honeymoon to Crystal Empire for a whole week. There, they just had a great time, enjoying some of the local traditions, the festival, and all. It was just happy that. And even when they later went back home to Manhattan, it happened from time to time that Octavia actually helped during the rehearsals for the play. Sometimes she was playing as like a backup actor or actress, even though she never took part of the role. She just wanted to help as much as she could. But after they had been married for about 2 years, they realized something. Octavia was pregnant, and they were told that they were expecting their first daughter. And they could not be more happier. And even after their daughter was born, both of them were so happy to be a parent. And another 2 more years passed when they expecting their second child. And this time, they had a son. Honey Drizzle was happy to just randomly walk into Octavia on the street in Manhattan. He hadn't even seen her in over 10 years back then, and he often wondered if he ever would be able to see her, despite that he made a promise that he would going back to Ponyville to ask her to be his girlfriend after he made a successful play in Manhattan. But even if he never did, the play The Fate had a different twist. Right from him going to Ponyville, she ended up being to be going to Manhattan. And as a fate of his luck, they ran into each other on the street of just like that. And they thought it was probably fate that they were meant to meet each other again after such a long time. Even after all this, Octavia couldn't have been more happier. Not only that she was once again reconnected someone that she hadn't been seen in such a long time, but her feelings, her passion, her love once again became stronger, happier. Especially to be able to share this with the someone that she loved the most. Even after all these years separated, the love, the passion was never extinguished. It was kept burning. All those years, the love in their hearts for each other was burning stronger than ever. They'd never forget each other. And now, you're finally married. And this is how Octavia Melody and Honey Drizzle found true love, got a big family together. The end.